we say that the media has to be impartial in Trinidad, it is not.
Affects the three of us at least sitting here, and I know many other citizens.
I know what it's going to be.
Traffic. Listen.
Just right after mid-center, everything starts to clear.
Flow.
Has been going on for ages.
Yeah.
You do not know why.
No.
Nothing is causing it. And the teachers became afraid of the students. Manners went out. Discipline, respect. We import Western ways into our culture, and it does not fit. I was wearing a high top.
High top shoes.
And it had this little gold thing on it. That socks is too thick. Because I wanted to sort it. Because my foot's sorting. I will see teachers who taught me. And to this day, I still say, hi, Miss So-and-so.
Same.
Hi, sir. But I also know people who have studied and done the relevant exams to become teachers and are waiting 10 years to be placed to the government. Let the people know that the government are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Hold them to account. That's the kind of politics I know. My father, men like my father and John Humphrey and Kelvin Ramnath and them had the PNM on their toes.
Welcome back to the second episode of The People's Mic. I have joining me, Michaela Pandey and Kimberly. Hey, what's up, y'all? How we doing?
Lots.
We're good.
Traffic, stress, everything. But it's a good day. It's a good day. How are you girls doing?
Good. It's always a good day when we're here.
When we're here. Going to have some good conversations today.
Of course. I mean, the last episode was absolutely phenomenal. Thanks so much to the persons that viewed and gave their feedback, etc.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love being able to open up a space for conversation, really.
Yes. Correct. There are not many of them around like that. There are not many spaces.
Yeah.
That are, because and those that are there are so controlled.
Yes.
So this is just us doing
what
our
you
thing.
see, what you get.
Is what you get. Yeah, that's great.
We try to have healthy dialogue and, just make people feel comfortable to share their thoughts and opinions and even their hopes and dreams.
On issues that we face on a day-to-day basis, and more so speaking about the issues, finding solutions for them.
Absolutely. As we were
But
discussing.
Ren, Michaela, we obviously like to kick things off with a little game. Some fun. We can't not have some fun doing this thing. So this game is called Name That Food.
Right.
Okay. So Ren and I are going to describe local foods. So we're not gonna just keeping it real simple.
Yes,
keeping it
local is best.
And we will only be sharing things like the ingredients, texture, and the way that it's prepared. And you have to guess which food we're talking about.
Of course.
Do you want to go first?
No, you go ahead. I feel like I
Okay, so flour, fried,
bake. Okay, maybe I should wait for a bit more. Instead of me just
pepper, sauce, shadow benny, cucumber.
Okay, if this is doubles,
yeah.
Boo, make it hard. Doubles, flour, fried, peppers, or shut.
Man, you try.
Okay. It comes from the ocean. Flour.
What is with this flour?
Most Trini things have flour in it.
It does.
It's true.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Comes spicy. It should be spicy. Legs.
Legs.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Legs.
Something spicy coming
Coming from the ocean with legs.
All right.
Could be considered Indian cuisine. Partially.
It's sort of something with
It's local.
it's sort of something with shrimp.
Okay.
Okay, no. From the ocean coming out with legs.
Why do you say it
this?
like that, you know?
Flour, sauce,
Sauce. Do you,
the sister aisle. Come on.
curry crab dumpling.
Yes! Yeah, once you say the sister,
I had to help you out.
Yeah.
once you say the sister.
Because I'm thinking legs.
Legs.
Okay, so mine.
Close.
Legs, yes.
Too easy.
Agreed.
Okay, so some people like it dry and some like it a little slimy.
Is slimy the word you want to use?
Well, yeah, because they use okra in it.
Okay, right. Callaloo.
No.
Oh, okay.
It has, you can use different meats. You don't necessarily have to only use one type of meat. They have like a variety of different meats you can use to make this particular thing. It has rice in it.
You're making this up.
No.
You are. Let me see.
No.
So it has rice in it. Some people are. Hold it.
You put like some vegetables in it too. Some people do it with vegetables.
So rice and vegetables.
Coconut milk,
Rice, vegetable.
golden ray.
Oh God, pilau. No, listen.
It is pilau.
We need to set some rules on this game.
Where is the fun in
Has
that?
anybody listening ever had slimy pilau?
Well, they put some people
Exactly. You say either dry or wet, right?
Well, it kind of some people put okra and it
Okay,
makes it a
question.
little bit.
Do you like dry or wet pilau?
Dry.
Oh, really?
Gosh,
No. I need to have a little sauce inside there.
Okay, I wouldn't describe it as sauce. You've been a little bit extreme.
No, it can't be. It can't be long
Not too
water.
dry. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
long water thing.
Okay, not where. Let's be honest. Sometimes it's sliding off the spoon.
Yeah.
No, but it has to have a little moisture.
something.
A little
Yeah.
something, a little something.
Yeah, it can't be dry.
Can't be choking.
Basically.
Okay. This is the
Next
last
dish,
one, right?
yeah.
How do I make this hard? Pumpkin. Coconut milk. We need to have pepper and everything.
Of course.
Bush.
Pumpkin.
Bush.
This is no rules, This is just, this game is your wild west.
Yes.
Saying what you want to say. Legs.
Slimy. Okra. Okay, yeah, okra.
So you have okra, pumpkin,
Bush.
bush.
Coconut milk. Coconut milk.
So we said callaloo before.
That's your guess?
Yes, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're terrible. The question I want to ask now is, who here cooks?
I do. But we can't make it easy for you.
Hello? Question number 2. Who here cooks well?
I do.
I do as well.
We bring it on.
Who says?
We need a phone.
I have a question for you. Who says or ever admits that they can't cook?
You don't admit they can't cook, but I would say I can give you numerous people that you can call.
Cool.
I'll pay them fast.
Do you cook?
Yes.
Okay. Do you cook well?
That's what they all say.
Oh,
Nice.
I love
Cool.
it.
We have to have a cooking with
A
Michaela.
cook off.
Yeah.
Here's
No
one.
cook off.
You realize
like
how
a cook-off.
competitive I am? You realize everything I want is a competition. Let's do a hula hoop competition. Let's do a cook-off competition. I just want to compete.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was.
That was fun.
What I think would be really nice is if some people, because people always play games.
Yeah.
And Trinidad, let's be honest, a lot of people play, especially when you're at university and there's a certain time in your life where you play lots of drinking games. And I'm not in any way promoting that, but let's be honest. There was a stage in your life where people would just play these games. And I think people should suggest some games to us.
Yes, of course.
And also, I think that'd be really nice. You know what we have to look at the next one? We must have some phone-ins.
Yes.
And let people, type questions. I think games, it's good and it kind of sets the mood for everything else.
It
and we
certainly
are
does.
fun-loving people in Trinidad. You
course.
know that. You know that.
Of course, and
We
we're
like
very
a good
creative.
old time.
Yeah.
We like a good old time, and young people like a good old time as well. We all do, but somehow having fun is now seen as, what are you laughing at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You
we
need
know
to,
what
you
there is to
need
be
to,
upset
you need to
about?
put a little fun in it.
I totally agree. Yeah, 100%.
You know, what do you all have? You have nothing to laugh about. No, you have to have some humor in things and have some
to.
fun. And not take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the issues that we're going to discuss are very serious issues.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Very heavy.
That are going on and heavy. So it's nice, at least for the viewer and the listener to,
It's a balance.
it's a balance. It's a
Yeah,
balance.
certainly
A
is.
healthy balance.
A healthy balance, of
Much
course.
needed. But it's time for us to
Jump
do
into
our second
Yeah.
segment
Yes.
called Hot Take.
Hot takes.
And there's been lots going on in the world, even here locally as well.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
one of the most recent hot topics everywhere was the US election. What are
Oh,
your
wow.
thoughts? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it was everything. Everybody was just talking
Yes,
about it.
everywhere.
And because America is a superpower, I mean, you agree with that. So people sort of
Yeah.
say what happens in America somehow
Affects
either
us.
directly or indirectly affects all the other countries around the world. So yeah, I was looking at it. I got to say that I predicted it.
I did too.
yeah,
I predicted it. I'm not into betting, but if I was, I could have placed
wait, gosh.
I could have placed 2 weeks ago. I felt about 2 weeks ago that I sort of knew what was happening, because sometimes when you peak, it's hard to stay
To
there.
maintain, yeah.
The fall can be a very, very
Quite,
steep
yes.
one, yeah. And I think we in Trinidad have to learn a lot of lessons from it, and politicians can learn a lot of lessons from it as well. But like I say, it's American politics. The American people voted. It's a democratic process, and hope that those who are there and President Trump will do what's in the best interest not only of his country but globally.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a topic that, I mean, I love to follow US politics. So looking at all the different podcasts and stuff like that, for me, that's entertainment. Like, I literally sit and look at it,
I
and
agree with you, girl.
it relaxes me for some reason. I know it sounds strange. So yeah, about 2-3 weeks ago as well, I looked at, I mean, the poll says one thing, the media says another thing, or they
course.
might say the same thing the polls are saying. But then when you start paying attention, you actually start paying attention, you realize, hey, it's gonna swing a particular way.
Of
So to
course.
me, I usually stay up to see when they reach the 270, like who reaches
Yeah.
it first.
Yeah,
And I didn't this time because I knew as well. I went to
did.
bed, and when I woke
I
up,
kept refreshing.
I woke up at
went to
5:30,
sleep.
and then I saw the news, and I was like, oh, well, there we go.
But it's, I mean, one of the things I pay attention to is the way the media would portray just politics in general and
Yeah.
the manipulation that goes on behind the scenes and how
Certainly.
that feeds into the way people perceive things. And that is something that I think the public needs to be aware of. And so I don't think we have it in Trinidad as much as in the United States and stuff like that. But I think it's something that people need to be aware of, media manipulation and how that feeds into the whole,
yeah.
your perception, how that impacts you, really.
Yeah, there's a lot of manipulation going on in the media. We know that happens. But what I do like in America in terms of support for a political party or candidate is that people own it.
Yes.
They don't
Yes, they
hide
do.
in the way that they hide here for whatever, because the
We
system's
have media
different.
houses in the United States that, so Fox
They're
News,
clear.
I know
Yeah,
where Fox
correct.
is.
Republican,
I know where CNN is. I know where MSNBC
Correct.
is. I accept all of that. But here you have particular journalists purporting, what let me call them, reporters instead, purporting to be neutral when you're pushing a narrative for a particular person or a particular party. And I don't see anything wrong with that, but own it.
I think we're human, and I think that we are going to naturally not
Gravitate.
remain biased in a situation like that. We either sometimes for something or against it. And I think exactly what you're saying there, I agree with, because you're a human. And you might take...
But you have to be professional.
Correct.
And we know
Yes, you
what
do.
you're doing.
Correct.
Yes.
And you're looking silly doing it because we know when hatchet job has to be done or promotion has to be done, which journalists we're going to look for and see that they've written it.
Right.
So as a lawyer, I have to be professional.
Yes.
I may think something or I may have a personal opinion, but no, I'm a professional and
Yes.
I do the job to the best of my ability. And again, in Trinidad, what you see is we know who they are. And I simply say, come out and do it. Now, we say that the media has to be impartial in Trinidad. It is not. Every single viewer here will know that it is not impartial in
Yes.
any way. You have to look at the people who own media houses.
Yes. Correct.
Right? You have to look at the two major ones, who own them, who's run them, who on the board, whatever it is. I don't have a problem with that, But don't bring anything pious to me. And that we're saying this because we are really not biased. We're not prejudiced in any way forward.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. That's my view. Yes, you are. You promote what you want, and that too is okay. But own it.
Yeah.
Again, accountability and transparency.
Yeah. Yeah, so another hot take, Kim. We see in Tobago, the big airport that was
Yes.
scheduled to open earlier. I was shocked when I saw that.
It looks lovely. I saw the infrastructure. Well, from pictures, they say it's not I'm not sure if it's finished on the inside or whatever.
I don't know how it looks on the inside,
on
but
the
it looks
outside, it
huge
looks-
from the outside. I'm not sure what their plans are in terms of what they're going to be
Well, an
doing with it.
election may be early. That's the way I look at it first and foremost. And I'm sorry to be cynical about that.
Yeah.
I'm happy for the people of Tobago once it benefits them.
Yeah.
If you have taken money and wasted it,
Yeah.
and we're not getting the tourists coming in, that's going to provide jobs for the people of Tobago, and you've done it as a fancy, self-promoting project, I would be against that. But if it helps the people of Tobago and it improves tourism and we get more airlines willing to fly to
Yeah.
Tobago from throughout the world,
Create
I
more
love every second
employment.
of that.
Yeah.
I love every second of it.
Yeah.
Again, call me a little bit old-fashioned, but I'm of the view, fix what you have,
Before you put something.
and I don't mind if it's needed to be bigger. In Trinidad, we needed a bigger airport. We had so many different airlines coming in. We
Yeah.
wanted to create almost Trinidad as the epicenter, the hub of
Yes.
everything that's
Yeah.
going on in the Caribbean. I would be happy. I just want to see that something comes out of it properly. I just want to see that people, that jobs are created out of it and not
Correct.
makeshift work.
Yeah.
I also would like to know, do they have the staff to fill the positions? Have all of these things been done? Or are you going to build another white elephant that kind of stands there and has it been equipped? I mean, I don't know. These are questions that I think journalists should ask, politicians should ask. When you did this study, and a feasibility study or something, because you have already had arrangement for all these different airlines to come in to Tobago, do we have the hotels? Is everything in place to just kick off? Otherwise, opening an airport early, unless you can say why you've opened it early, besides that there's possibly that you're having an early election, I don't know, but I can't answer that. But I think as a politician, as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, whose taxpayer dollars you've spent, we're entitled to ask that question. And I'll ask it. I don't know what you girls think. I mean, it's about money and taxpayer money.
Yeah.
If it was a priority, did they prioritize it? We always talk
I'm
about that.
all for, like you mentioned, and I would piggyback off of what you said. Once it's there for improvement of the people of Tobago, and they're able to get that employment, and it's not just like a little one-off thing or a little here and there thing, but permanent employment. And it really brings that level of tourism to help the island and the economy of Tobago grow. Why not open it early? Open it tomorrow if you could.
Open it tomorrow if you could. But don't leave it as a shell.
Yeah.
And don't waste money or do glorified or projects.
Yeah.
So my hope is that is exactly what we think on the positive side. And I'm happy for the people of Tobago.
I'm absolutely happy, and time
I'm excited
will
to
tell,
see.
and
Time will tell, as it always does.
right?
As it
Because
always does.
you can't hide everything. So if it is, and I think we'll all agree on that, if it is something that's going to benefit the people of Tobago, go for it, 100%.
Totally agree.
And I'm in support of that.
Yeah.
One last hot take, and I know this is something that affects the three of us at least sitting here, and I know many other citizens.
I know what it's going to be.
Traffic. Listen. Yo.
We just bend my head a little bit on that.
Check us.
Yeah.
They're just
Headache
no
one
words.
side.
I have no words when I sit in that traffic. The traffic that is as a result of the works that's going on in Shoguanas there. It starts sometimes from all the way Hoover.
But don't y'all find before the work started, that was there? I have an office in Shoguanas, and I also work in Port of Spain. And this traffic, just right when you stop, just right after mid-center, everything
Yes.
starts to clear.
Flow.
Yeah.
Has been going on for ages.
Yeah.
You do not know why.
No.
Nothing is causing it. Traffic is something very close to my heart because I sit in it every day. You're driving on the other side and you say, I wish I can tell these people that nothing is causing this.
Yes, literally.
Nothing. I do not know if it's just that people just expect it and therefore slow down a little bit. I thought about so many things. I said, if you put the police, right, the police can pull the traffic, but when people see police, they drive slower.
Yeah, they do.
So, I mean,
It's
me
terrible.
having to sit in that traffic for the past however long, it starts really early in the morning. So, at 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
the traffic
It
is already
starts.
there, and sometimes
we
it
live in
is all
South.
the way
We-
back
we-
at Couva.
We know.
Yeah, but okay, I can
And-
still accept that peak hours.
No, here's my
There will
thing.
be traffic, but
Now
there
you
is
can't tell.
No, you can't.
You can't tell what time is peak hour for that traffic
Any
there.
day, and I feel that's what the fixing of the road has like. It's any time fixing
Yeah.
up whatever they're doing with the roads. To be honest, I'm not sure how it's going to help, but I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer. I'm going to wait to just see.
I
if
really
it
does.
alleviates
Honestly, I am hopeful. I really, really am hoping that they do get that bottleneck sort of thing happening on the highway. They're
The
resolved
amount
with
of
what is happening.
working hours, efficient working hours that is lost.
Yep.
I always tell a story. When you leave from, you girls will know, when you leave and you're coming up, or you're going northbound, or, sometimes east to westbound, parents have their kids in the car sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Because they have to go to work, they have to drop them to school. I saw a lady stop in a car park in Port of Spain, changing her
Yep,
kids into
yep.
the
Yes.
school uniform and feeding them. When you work all day, then you have to say, I have to take this again in the
Tomorrow.
evening, whether you're going eastbound or whatever. They talk about against the traffic. It's just, and not once have you seen anybody try to solve the traffic problem.
I don't know. I feel like they do things to try to solve it, but it does nothing.
But Trinidad has a lot of cars. There was
Yes.
some survey, I cannot remember now, but there was some survey that said per household in the world, I must check it all if our viewers know, something about per household in the world or something, Trinidad has the most amount of cars. And we top some kind of list. A
You see-
household of 3 has 4, 5 cars.
Yes. And
We
I-
have a lot of cars.
I think one of the things with Trinidad is we don't have a reliable public transport
transportation.
system.
Correct.
And I'm saying that's having had
To
taken
use
public
transport,
transport, be it the water taxi,
Yeah.
be it the coach, be it taking a maxi and a taxi going to City Gate, having to jostle up with everybody. I've done all of that, so I know what I'm speaking about.
Yeah.
it's not reliable. Having to take a PTSD bus. Sometimes the bus is supposed to be there at 4. When you get there at 4, there is no bus schedule. You have to wait 2 hours and all kind of thing.
And it's raining and there's no bus shed, there's no nothing. I mean, it's terrible.
Yes.
But beyond there's no reliable public transportation, it isn't safe for those who have a car to say, listen,
Exactly. Correct.
I'm going to park my car and I'm going to take public transport.
Yeah.
Right? Because as a woman, especially, you know how it works. You don't feel safe taking a taxi. You don't feel safe dropping out somewhere with a maxi.
And it's beyond just you feeling safe. You might park up your car and it would not be there when you go.
And then the car would not be there when you go.
Yeah.
So what you're doing to encourage people to take public transport, you're not. So we have a lot of cars on the road. We all go to work at the same time and leave work at the same time.
Yes.
Something that people do not want to think out the box to change that at all. But it's too debilitating. It's too much the traffic.
Listen, I'm
You
exhausted.
feel sick knowing what you have to face.
I'm exhausted. Just by the time I sit in the traffic and get to my destination, I am tired for the day.
Correct.
Like I am now trying to wake myself back up.
Correct.
I'm trying to, do the task that I actually have at hand to do right now. And that's tough. And then when I'm done with that, I now need to sit back down in traffic all over again.
And you have to take it again. So when you go home and some people have to look after children. They have to cook. They have to clean. They have to do homework. They have to do this. They have to do their own work. You're getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. When you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, by midday, you've been up for 8 hours. You are tired.
Yes.
Yeah, you are.
And you have to concentrate driving. It's not like if
You
you
have to concentrate driving. It's too much. And I think it's, people think, there's bigger issues, but no, traffic is a big issue. You are angry, you're frustrated, you're hungry, you're everything when you get home.
Correct.
You then have to face whatever it is at home. Then you're on top of all of that. You gotta face it the next day.
It's hard. That traffic thing.
It is, and that's one of the reasons why, when I was younger, I would just say when I was young. I'm still young.
Of course you are.
When I was younger, I used to work in Port of Spain, and I said, listen, I cannot mentally take this every day. But there are people that don't have that luxury. They have to go out. Yeah. That's where their jobs are.
That's where your job's at.
Correct. So they have to commute every day. They have to face that traffic every day. And I don't know.
What
mentally,
I would say,
I don't know how to
wrapping up this part of the conversation, is that I really do hope for not just us three sitting here, but for everybody that has to use that highway every day, that whatever roadworks they're doing, that they say should be done in December, that one is done before Christmas. Because can you imagine we hit December with that? Ooh, sheesh.
And I don't know, something as simple. I mean, we'll talk more about it in terms of solution at another time, because I know it's hot topics, but something as simple as working at night.
Exactly.
12 to 6.
Yeah.
People do shifts, they do that. Make sure, they're well looked after. Just do it then.
It really upsets me sometimes. Some things aren't really rocket science. It's just a matter of common sense. And
it just feels that they're there to just punish us for everything.
That's literally what it feels like.
But nothing must be good. Everything must be bad. We just had to be punished. We had to be punished with everything.
But I just hope for all of us that the roadworks finish by December and that it solves that problem.
Like the airport.
Yes.
Yeah. But guys, we are here to talk about something that has been trending in Trinidad, at least topically, in recent months. It's an issue that people face all around the globe. It's bullying in all different forms, cyber and the traditional way of how we know bullying to be.
Yeah.
As it relates to schools specifically.
Specifically, yeah. So we're going to be addressing how it impacts our students, our children.
Yeah.
I think what happened is it's happening all over the world, but I think with death of that beautiful young child who committed suicide, it kind of put it on the front burner. It's there, and the citizens and some schools are keeping it alive, the topic, the discussion. But the people who can do something about it are still yet to say something.
Yes.
And this is what annoys me. No legislation has gone to the parliament as a matter of urgency. No discussion has been held. No private motions or anything has been brought to discuss it. And that's why I felt when we were chatting amongst ourselves, we were saying, listen, we should discuss bullying.
Yeah.
And, do our bit to kind of keep the conversation alive and hope that it in some way or form, it could bring peace to some parents, peace to some young people who are probably listening to us, who are going through it. And kind of be that push for those with the power to do something about it, because it is terrible out there.
Yeah,
it really is. And so from where I sit, when I went to school, I've been bullied, by the way, but in primary school. And for whatever reason, I don't know, I just felt as though the bullies at that time, they thought that I would just be an easy target. I do think that caused me to be, I know some people, it will cause them to kind of go more within themselves. I kind of just became more vocal. So I'm very outspoken, and I think all of those things kind of contributed to that. But no way, no form, no fashion was it anything close to what is happening now. I think that it has taken root in schools. I think that teachers themselves don't even know what to do, how to do it. I feel as though the victims, they're afraid to speak up. Some of them, it's just a cycle, it's a vicious cycle. But
like everything else, I think it has a solution.
Of course. And I think that things don't happen overnight, and we didn't get to this place overnight.
It began in my mind when the power structure between teachers and students started to change.
Yes.
Once the students became almost the one in charge.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And the teachers became afraid of the students. Manners went out, discipline, respect. You had no power, you had no authority to correct them.
That's the thing. I think that's one of the main problems. I mean, we look at
it's the main
children, bullying
problem.
children, but when you take discipline out of, when there's no repercussion, like, people will do what they want.
And I guess
it's the same for the students.
What you're saying is so true, because sometimes, unfortunately, videos from schools will be posted on social media where there are fights and stuff, and you may see a teacher running in to try to, the teacher again blows too.
Yeah.
Right?
Not in my time.
Not in my time either.
You again go over a stick.
Because I was afraid of parents, say for your teacher, your principal, to tell your parent. My mother wasn't coming in there to question, well, was that true? Was that? They're an authority. They've said, this is what you've done. This is the repercussions of that.
Yes.
You're getting it twice.
Yeah.
Whatever punishment you have in school, and then you come home to be disciplined by, and I'm not talking about corporal punishment, this, that, but to be disciplined and for your parents to have a role. Parents are coming in the school to fight the teachers.
So that is the other thing now.
What is that?
The indiscipline isn't just in the schools, it stems from the homes, because now the parents are taking it upon themselves, in some cases, coming in school for the teacher, going in school for the teacher, right? And then teachers end up being fearful for their lives. So what does a teacher do now? Sometimes they just take a hands-off approach.
When you talk to a lot of people who have kids that have experienced bullying and stuff like that in school, one of the things they would say is, all the teachers don't do anything. They don't, it's like almost
what power and authority do the teachers have? So everything is structured and hierarchy. The teacher might have to take it to the dean, and the dean then takes it to the principal, and then what power does the principal have? We try to restructure things in Trinidad, and we do it with so many things where we import Western ways into our culture, and it does not fit. because it's not good. And I'm not saying, if they say it's not good to shout at the child, you need to do this to the child. You're bringing everything in wholesale here into our culture. I don't believe in abuse of children. I don't believe you're hitting children, and we see that it happens. But there are ways
To discipline.
to discipline.
You know, like back in my day, so I went to a convent and we had a system called dots and stars, right?
Yeah.
Listen, afraid to get a dot. A dot was a bad thing, and that means you probably have to go and scrub some furniture somewhere, paint something. I don't know.
There was
something.
some sort of repercussion for your wrongdoing.
Behavior.
Yes.
And so it teaches you that, hey, I can't just do anything and get away
And
with
then
it.
we had stars. So you get stars when you do good things,
We
right?
had
Rewarded,
commendations, and in class and stuff, when you have black.
Yes.
Well, so there was a combination that was academic, but if you got no black marks and you were always on time, you get this extra commendation or that kind of thing.
And then they would give you a merit card at the end of, and they would have this big award ceremony, and your parents get invited. It was a big thing.
Yeah.
I made sure for the 5 years I stayed in that school, I got 0 dots. 0
I
dots.
got dots. I got dots.
I just tried
I was
my
wearing a
best.
high top.
What?
Shoes.
High top shoes?
And it had little gold thing on it.
Yeah, I
Candy.
used to hide. I used to wear my
Candy.
pink shoes too.
Pandy, do you know so? Pandy, that socks is too thick. Because I wanted to slouch it. Because my foot's so thin. My foot's so thin. And so that certain people would bully me. I used to slouch it to look cool and have my skirt long and whatever. But coming back to repercussions, same thing in society. Yeah. You're seeing, once there are no repercussions, it doesn't act as a deterrent. Who make you so big to feel that you could cuss a teacher, come inside and when a teacher came, good morning, miss, good morning, sir.
We were made, when a teacher walked in
We
our
had to
class,
stand.
you stand for the teacher.
You have to
say good
stand.
morning, whoever is the teacher's name. They will tell you, girls, you can take your seat now.
Girls, you can take your seat, otherwise you stand up.
Yes.
But also, I will see teachers who taught me, and to this day, I still say, hi, Miss So-and-so.
Same.
Hi, sir. Oh, God, Michaela, don't call me now. You make me feel old. How can I ever call you?
Exactly.
Hi, Gail. Hi, Sharon.
Exactly.
You're not my friend. It doesn't matter what position you find yourself
And beyond
in.
that, like those same people taught you respect.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly. So we're missing respect. We're missing discipline. We're missing repercussions for bad behavior in school. You could do what you want. I go to many schools, and I go to majority of government schools that I go to. When I go to those schools and I chat with the girls or I chat with the boys, I always say to them, I said, you know, if you behave like that outside the walls of the school that is protecting you, what will happen? The police will get involved. You know, you can get charged for assault, battery, these kinds of things. And it doesn't stop being a crime because you're in school. This is something we need to look at. It does not stop being a crime because you're in school.
I think on that point, I don't think those students are aware. I don't know how, but I don't think they are aware.
I think I can understand how they don't know how.
But
When-
like she
again,
said, is you're protected by the four walls of that school.
not just that, like you've taken out the authority. Like they don't have anyone to look up to as
Doing what they want.
Yes.
correct. The teachers aren't there no longer to give guidance as we would have gotten guidance.
But also with teachers, a lot of teachers are not staying in the profession.
Yeah.
When I had gone to school, your teacher would have started probably at young and stayed there till they have to retire.
Yes, correct.
That's not happening. And that has its own discussion
Yes.
we would have in terms of pay and treatment and all of that of teachers. But teachers are not staying. A lot of times you finish Form 6 and you go in and you're teaching. Your teacher now looks like you.
So
My teacher looked like my parents.
Yes.
So that is very true. By the time I was ready to leave secondary school, the teachers would have just been a couple of years older than I was at the time. Literally, like a couple of years older.
That's
and I'm
right.
like, and you would even see between that, you would see the breakdown of the teacher being an authority, because now the girls were friends with this teacher, and it was crazy to see.
Yeah.
It was crazy to see to me, because it's like, I still see a teacher as a teacher.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
But now, because of that very small age gap between the teacher and the student, of course, there was,
And the teachers don't stay for long and they leave, and then there's another set of teachers that come in. So there's a whole thing within the entire system. So you have to look at, how do I encourage teachers to come in, and how do I encourage them to stay?
Yeah.
And you have to look at the amount you pay them. You have to look at so many things within the whole system. But I also know people who have studied and done the relevant exams to become teachers and are waiting 10 years to be placed. And I met one of these girls about a couple months ago, and she was doing hairdressing, and she's so good at what she does. And she says, Miss Pandey, this is not something that I wanted to do. I said, but you're so good at it, and you're doing so well, and everybody speaks so well about you, and you're setting up your own business. She says, I just started this waiting to be placed, to be a teacher. You don't have a system where you say you have teacher shortage, you need substitute teacher to come in, where you have somebody waiting for 10 years. And then if the person living in Barrackpore, you're putting them to teach in Toko.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if they're living in Toko, you're putting them to teach in Point Fortin. What is going on with this whole system? You think we're not reaping what we have sown?
Yeah.
But like in everything else, if you know the problems, there are solutions. Put it in place. So a young lad has lost his life. And that too we shall forget. We won't forget.
Yes.
But they who are up there temporarily seem to have forgotten already. You go to a funeral. You could go to a funeral and cry as much as you want,
But what are you doing after?
What are you doing after that is what I want to know.
What are you doing to prevent it from happening again?
Why have we not started? If the government are doing it, the opposition should do it. Start a mental health campaign. Put something, do a report, do some kind of thing. Put it to the government. Let the people know that the government are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Hold them to account. That's the kind of politics I know. My father and John Humphrey and Kelvin Ramnath and them had the PNM on their toes. Not because they have forgotten it. You should. And that's why, we're here to talk about it and say that something has to be done.
Yeah.
Has to be done.
Well, on that note, we actually got some persons that would have shared their experience.
Yeah. I know,
us.
and we thank them so much for that.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to be on camera, which we totally understand, because they themselves can be bullied and victimized because there's no protection out there. But and we thank them so much for coming forward.
Yeah. So one is from a parent, and his son, just one day, secondary school, Form 1, he would have gone to school, and the parents would have gone to collect him after school. And when the parent collected him, he said, "Dad, XYZ happened. I was physically assaulted." And the parents automatically, obviously, if you're hearing your child say something like that, you did the first thing that you could. You tried to get onto the school. So, of course, they went to the teacher. They went the full, way that they could have in the school. They went to the dean, principal. They did everything, and nothing was done. The parents would have asked for the school to give some sort of assurance that if the child were to go back to the school, that the child would be protected. Obviously, they couldn't give any assurance. The child actually ended up in the hospital because he started wheezing, something that didn't happen to him until 5 years prior. It was the last time he wheezed. He ended up having to go going into the hospital. The parents realized obviously this isn't something good for his mental health, and they took it upon themselves. Fortunately, in their case, they had the luxury of being able to homeschool that child. So that child is still being homeschooled. I think he's probably in around Form 3 now, and he's doing well. But that scar of what that did,
And
he
missing
doesn't
out
want-
on, I like homeschool. A lot of children who I know are being homeschooled, they're doing really well.
Yes.
But I think there's a social aspect
Oh,
of
yes.
homeschooling that
Listen.
is missing. But at the end of the day, you have to choose.
correct.
So I don't blame these parents at all.
And so that's the only way they saw that they could have protected him. They went to the Ministry of Education, they went to the police,
Doing
so they did
nothing.
all of those things.
Yeah, and nothing.
And nothing was done, and that's when they made that final decision. Hey, my child literally cannot go back to the
And I
school.
don't want them to die or
Correct,
kill themselves
exactly.
or
So-
be killed.
Correct.
I would homeschool them as well.
Yeah.
But
so
at least they're able to. What about those single
There are
parents
so
or those
many
parents where two of them
parents.
are working?
there are so many parents that I know they can't afford to do that. They don't have the luxury of doing that.
Not
Mom
at
has to
all.
work, dad has to work. There's nobody home to supervise, a child being homeschooled. And so now they're forced to send the child out to school.
Yeah.
And they're hoping and praying that the child is safe.
And comes home in one piece
I mean,
in the
that
evening.
is so sad. I'm not a parent, but I can't imagine having a child, dropping the child off to a space that should be safe and having to worry about coming back and meeting them alive.
I feel what's worse is the frustration and helplessness. Because we will accept that bullying is something that happens, but that it cannot be nipped in the bud immediately, that there is no recourse, that there's no one who can help you.
Yeah.
It's just insanity.
And you know what? Like a person like me, if someone tells me, okay, well, I can't help you at that level, I am the type of person that asks, okay, so who above you?
Who to help, who to
Yeah.
go to, what to do.
Point me to the next
Yeah.
thing I could do. And then when I reach that level, they might say the same thing, and then I'll ask the same question again. But then you realize that you keep climbing this ladder, and the ladder really not going anywhere.
It's not going
You're
anywhere.
literally on the same
So
level.
that is the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
The other person that I would have shared with me is much older now. However, she was bullied in school. But one of the things that stood out to me from her story is the impact that it had on her even years after she left school.
That's right.
The mental, her mental state, it affected her mentally, and she had to seek counseling. So bullying is not just this
Because it
harassing
happens.
kind of subtle thing that we
Yeah,
need
I
to...
think because it happens within those formative years,
Yes.
it's like you're kind of soaking in everything. Being a teenager, I could remember, people's opinions matter.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
those things matter to you. As you get older, you start to kind of,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter as much as it used to.
Yeah.
But when you're a teenager, you
It
want that
matters.
acceptance.
You want to be accepted.
You want people to like you. You want to have friends. You want to laugh and smile and play games and do
Be
exactly.
invited to
Correct.
when they're going out and yeah.
So when that doesn't happen, being a teenager, and you experience the opposite of that, I think it's human nature for us to go through that period of our lives in that healthy way. But when it doesn't happen in that healthy way, it will scar us. We're going to have trust issues that we're going to have to unravel into our early 20s, heading into your 30s. Some people never really get over it. Some people don't understand that they make decisions all through their lives because of things
This
that
thing,
happen,
yeah.
trauma that happened to them. And so it has an effect, a long-term effect on an individual. And it's not just the little bullying and bullying.
And when you get older and you go and you finish school, that's gone. It's not like that
It's
at all.
not gone.
Which is why you need to have counselors and these people
Yes.
in schools. And again, young counselors, we need to do peer projects like my peer sister, you know, and that is so, you know, it's easier for me to tell my peer sister in Form 5 if this is happening to me in Form 1 than for me to go to the nurse or for me to go to the principal and she, you know, you have to put things in place for them, you know. We want children to speak out. Don't keep it on your own. Don't keep it on your own. But then they speak out and they say, well, who's going to help me?
Yeah, I think too, like parents as well, create those spaces at home where you have dialogue like that with your kids, open dialogue, so they feel comfortable to come and tell you when something like that is happening to them.
And just, you know, you don't have to say anything happening here, but just talk about this, you know. What do you think about, I mean, I am not a professional, but you can say, what do you think about this situation that you could have, that happened with such and such? Because they would be knowing about it, then they would have known and they would have talked about it in school. What did you think? You know, I don't know the answer to this, but you might know the answer. Why did you feel that he's so, and you will start to hear things.
Exactly.
And find out, you know, what's going on there.
Yeah, and it's important. It's so important. I know teenagers can have their little moods, and because you know they're still trying to figure out themselves.
We all did.
We all did. We all passed through that,
yeah.
And you know it's so important to just pay attention to your child's behavior changing. Just drastic changes. Them just not wanting to talk at all for long periods, wanting to be by themselves.
Don't want to go to school. Have a tummy ache every morning, feeling sick, and
those are signs.
It's a sign, and parents have to look at those signs, and it's important. It's important. You get one chance at doing this, you know. Do your part as a parent, and set an example.
Yes. That is also important.
We've spoken about the kids who have been bullied, and I don't like to use the word victim at all. But when you look at the ones doing the bullying, what are they seeing at home?
Exactly.
You know, so we have to look at it from
It's a
both
cycle.
sides.
So I mean, we've spoken a lot here about even the mental states of, like you said, you don't like to use the word victim, but the ones that are being bullied.
Yeah.
But the child that is also doing the bullying, there's something going on there as well.
Something's happening. You think you see somebody slapping somebody at home. You see a certain language being used at home. You see, and you're emulating something, or you're unhappy at home. Something is physically happening to you. And you are taking it out on someone else when you go to school. These are important things, and you have to look at it from both sides.
Angles,
and that's why I think it's really important. I know we talk in solutions as well. I think it's so important to have guidance counselors and stuff like that attached
You need
to
them, and let them be the Form 5s and the Form 6s, and let them be that, So I can speak the house captains who are doing the things in sport. They'll notice kind of what's going on, and there are ways you can do things, as I've always said.
With little resources. We're not
little
saying,
or no resources. Use what you have.
Correct. You're very, very right. And I mean, even in schools, I remembered when I was in Form 1, they would tell you that Form 5 and Form 6s are not to interact with the Form 1s to Form 3s. In the primary schools as well, they do it. Standard 4 and 5 cannot interact with the first year and second years. And there is a reason for that.
Because that's like your big sister. That's like your big brother.
Correct.
I was kind of glad not to interact with them. I was bullied when I was in primary school.
They're too big to talk to you.
No,
but you're giving them a responsibility.
When I was in primary school, I was actually bullied by some standard 5s. They used to come and tax me. Remember, taking taxes, just to call it tax here.
Come pay a little 25 cents, right? Your little bob.
I only go into school with a 50 cents, 75 cents, and they come to take my bob from me.
No, but it's but they're not going to be all of them.
No,
but
you
And
I think also the teachers and the principals also would know the kids that would be inclined to be like that, and the ones that will be more responsible. And so, you sift them out, and then I think there are things that can work. I think with the resources we have, we can find some sort of solutions So some of the problems that we have, but we can't just say, oh yeah, bullying happening in schools. Okay, all right. We talk about
And you know,
it, and
parent
then
teachers associations and things like that, the PTAs and people to come together and work in unison. So if we take it out, look, forget about government and legislation, because then you have to implement it and blah blah blah, whatever. Okay, but what as a principal can I do today?
Yeah.
What as a teacher can I do today after we have assembly? Can we all just sit together and have a, you know, I don't know the answer, but I feel I have suggestions. But again, I feel that if we're looking to come up with solutions, you must speak to teachers.
Yes.
They're the ones who know.
oh, yes.
You know,
As
they're
well
the
as
ones
parents, like they're the ones dealing.
and parents,
Yeah.
you know, so you bring it in, and that's who, quote unquote, would be the stakeholders.
Yes.
You know, you have your parents, you have your teachers, you have the students.
And you figure it out from
and
there.
figure out something.
But
So-
I just, I always like to leave people with resources, and Childline is
Absolutely.
actually one of the spaces that a person, be it a parent or a student, can call if they're being bullied. And Childline's number, we'll put it up on your screen, but I'll still
Great.
just call it out. It's 632-3254. That's
Wonderful.
632-3254. Please feel free to reach out to them. They are supposed to be a 24/7 hotline. If not, try calling them between the 8 to 4 hours. But definitely, if you
Do
experience stuff
something.
like that,
Don't close your eyes to it.
Yeah.
Do something.
yeah, I totally agree.
100%.
But this conversation to me has been so important, and I know it will be enlightening to a lot of people, because again, we didn't just talk, okay, we have problem here, we have problem there. We spoke about some solutions, and we
Yeah.
really hope that if any of our viewers have solutions as
yeah,
well,
100%.
please
Let us know.
please comment. We really, really want to know. Don't mind how long the comment might be. It might be 10 pages. We don't care. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your suggestions. We want to be able to make more of an impact than just us sitting here
And talking about it, yeah.
We
Yeah.
want to actually put some,
Exactly. And also,
Present.
I mean, if it is that you feel that there's nowhere else that you can go, and you're experiencing a problem, you can reach out to us as well.
yes.
And whatever we can do to help, we will try. But solutions and ideas, just wonderful to hear from other people, especially people who have experienced it.
Yeah,
so,
because we will only probably come up with a few, but there might
if everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
And we pull all those ideas together and be able to really come up with something that can work, then
That'd be great.
just please share away.
Share
away. But this has been really enlightening. That Kimberly said you can catch us on socials. We are everywhere, literally. TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.